Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Prehistoric Hunt. Now, in this video, we are going to go through each dinosaur one by one on this game. We're going to learn a little bit more about the hotspots of where you can find it, the characteristics of each of these dinosaurs, and how they act. So, if you are new to the game, or you do have experience on this game, but you want to know a little bit more, make sure you wait to the end. Now, of course, all of this is from my experience of the game. Some people may have different experiences, but this is where I have found about each of the dinosaurs and where to find them and their hotspots when I'm out hunting. Let's get into it. We start off with the Compsognathus, otherwise known as the Compy. Now, with this small but very agile dinosaur, you will not see it coming. They love to hunt in packs, and you will hear the dreaded squeak before the bushes rustle, and they will come. These little ankle biters can be devastating in a group. They're very difficult to get a shot on, and you almost have to wait for them to get close. They are almost invisible before they get close. They will jump and hunt you from the bushes, waiting to ambush. The Compsognathus normally distributes itself fairly over the island, known to be around the ranger's cabin, freight container, northwest of the island in this part here, around the temple ruins. I've also known it to get me down south at the bottom of the island here, and to venture slightly into these middle parts south of the radio tower. The Ankylosaurus, this armoured brute, is a fairly tranquil dinosaur. However, it will become aggressive if you get too close. If you get too close and shoot it, well, that is your own funeral. They also do have herd mentality. So if there are others in the proximity to where you are, and you're battling with one, trust me, they will join in the fight. If you've seen my previous videos, you will know exactly what I mean by that. This dinosaur is hunted by the larger carnivores, so it will be hunted by a Carnotaurus, Spinosaurus, Giganotosaurus, and of course the Tyrannosaurus rex. The Ankylosaurus mainly situates in these areas. South of the freight container, in that little dip there is always a congregation of Ankylosaurus. It's been known to travel between the ranger's cabin and cave in this part of the area here. It's been known to venture to the beach next to the radio tower. There has been also parts in the middle supply warehouse over here just to the east of supply warehouse, and also around the fuel depot here, over towards Forester's boat and temple ruins. So Ankylosaurus can generally be found on a fair amount of the island. The Brachiosaurus is definitely by far the largest dinosaur in the game. But with that size, it definitely has a very difficult life. Being slow and situated in all of the same places as the larger carnivores, as you can imagine, it is always one of the first to go down, without being able to put up much of a fight. This slow-moving dinosaur is actually fairly tranquil. At the shot of a bullet, it will try and run away. However, just do not get too close, as when close and disturbed, they will trample you. The Brachiosaurus on this game is a real water lover. Mainly you can find them along the beaches of here next to radio tower, the beach here just east of Forester's boat. You can also find them that they ventured into the main part here, which is the most common parts as well, but the strangest part, it's not near any water. They've been known to be along the beach here right at the north of the island between freight container and also ranger's cabin. Next we have the Triceratops. This big herbivore is very similar in how it acts to the Ankylosaurus. I'd say the main differences is that the Triceratops can be a lot more aggressive, so the distance that you get to it is much shorter before it will start flaring up and giving you a warning sign. It will literally growl at you, row its head, and if you do not back away within a certain time, it will charge you. The distance also as well for you shooting it and being close enough is a lot shorter. So within a certain distance and you get a hit on it, it will also charge you. The Triceratops as well also does have a very hard life. It is also hunted by Giganotosaurus, Spinosaurus, and the Tyrannosaurus rex. The Triceratops can be found around the supply warehouse. They have been known to venture over towards Forrester's boat, along this beach, and up towards the radio tower in this part here. The Triceratops has also been known to be south of Freight Container in these parts here. They've also been seen and taken down around Temple Ruins, around the cave, in between the cave and the ranger's cabin here, and venture onto this beach. Next up, we have the Iguanodon. This very elusive dinosaur will prefer to hide and run. However, they do like to hide in the bushes, and if you are the unlucky person to stumble across that bush, they will attack you. If you do get too close, or you do shoot at them and hit them at a fairly close distance, then they will attack, and they do deal heavy damage. In terms of their positioning on the map, the only real big carnivore, the only carnivore there that will be able to take them down is the Carnotaurus. However, you do not often see the Carnotaurus take down an Iguanodon. They would much rather take down a Gallimimus from that area. So they are pretty at peace, and they are generally left alone. The Iguanodon can be found in this north-west side of the island, all along up to the warehouse and all of this part here, down by the ruins. They're also well known to be around the fuel depot area and slightly north of that part, down over these hills. The Iguanodon is probably the most separated dinosaur on the island in terms of how spread it is, only being in that northwest and southeast positions. Next up, we have the Gallimimus. Now, this poor feathered dinosaur is probably the unluckiest of all. It is hunted by all of the carnivores apart from the compies, and doesn't have much luck with it either. They do travel in herds and do have herd mentality. They are definitely the most spooked dinosaur on the game. Get too close and they will run. They are probably also the only dinosaur on the game that do not attack you at all. They will not attack no matter how close you get, no matter what happens. They will just run. This does, however, make it a lot more difficult when you are tracking them, as they do travel in herds. Sometimes trying to guess which one is your tracked dinosaur just from the tracker is impossible. The Gallimimus again is another herbivore that has vast spawning and travel paths, and you can find it majority parts of the island. They've been known to venture around the supply warehouse, both over to the east and the west side of that part, right down into this bootleg here, all the way into Forrester's boat. They've also been known to be just to the west hand side of the Heart Lake, and will run from predators or run from you into the open part here. You can also find them south of Freight in this part here, along the beaches to Radio Tower, and they will also venture to the north of the island. Now, the Utahraptor. This feathered carnivore is just as scary as they make out the Velociraptor to be in the Jurassic Park franchises. This carnivore will actively seek to hide, in bushes and ambush you when it can. They hunt in packs, so most of the time there is not just a singular one that's attacking you and you have to deal with. They will attack in 2s, 3s, 4s. The most I've had is 5 in one go. And, of course, I did not make it. They very rarely hunt, but I have seen them hunt Gallimimus in the past. They are actively aggressive, so when you do get into a fair proximity to them, they will attack whether you have shot them or not. From a distance, if you do shoot them, they will also attack you up to a certain point, but naturally, from a really far distance, and you snipe them down and hit them or shoot at them, they will retreat and run away. The Utahraptor is most likely seen to this east side of Supply Warehouse, around the freight container here, just southwest of the radio tower in this part here, and also around the temple ruins area. Now we have the Spinosaurus. This massive carnivore does like the watered areas. It will hover around the seashores and lakes, and it can also swim. So there is no escaping by jumping in the water. It will swim and come after you. This big carnivore does cross territories with both the Giganotosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and currently at the moment in time is, I guess, the more superior dinosaur on the island, as in a fight it will, if not injured, beat both the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Giganotosaurus. Now, when you're fighting this dinosaur for yourself, however, you will find it easier to take down than a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So in terms of human, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is the most difficult to take down on this island. The Spinosaurus will hunt all herbivores in terms of Ankylosaurus, Triceratops, Pachycephalosaurus, anything that it can find and sink its teeth into. The Spinosaurus loves to be around the watered areas. So this area of the island here, which we call the Heart Lake, he ventures down south to this coast part here. He will also venture to this east and south part of the temple ruins and venture round the water here to this point, and will continue his path down there. There has been some occasions where the Spinosaurus has ventured across this part to the edge of this beach here as well. Next up, we have the Giganotosaurus. Now, this is probably, again, another aggressive carnivore on this game. It will actively initiate fights with the other two larger carnivores. It will defeat the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but however, quite often falls short to defeating the Spinosaurus, with the Spinosaurus still being probably longer than the Giganotosaurus on this game. The Giganotosaurus does still give it a good run for its money. Now, in terms of aggression towards the player, it will start chasing you within a certain distance. So if you have your flashlight on or run near it, it will initiate an attack. Also, if you shoot it at a distance and hit it, it will also come and attack you from pretty much the majority of distances. However, if you shoot and miss, potentially, if it's far away enough, it will decide to run within a certain distance. However, it will still track you down and get you. It will hunt all kinds of herbivores again on this island, and none of them are safe that are within its patch. The Giganotosaurus normally stakes its territory to the west side of the island. Mainly inland, they have been known to venture down this valley here, around this water part and the hills here, down around this rock part here. They will also venture through the valley here onto this beach, and of course, if you watch my videos, this part here, which we call Gigaland, solely for the purpose of this is the main congregation of the Giganotosaurus. And here we have the Flaccidromus. The Flaccidromus is one of 2 flying type dinosaurs on this game. They do have their set flight paths, so it will only bother you in certain areas. However, the Flaccidromus is definitely the more aggressive of the 2. You have your flashlight on, there is no chance, it will dive bomb you, and is definitely harder to take down than the Pteranodon. So, in certain areas, without your flashlight, if you shoot at it, the majority of the time it will come for you. Within that part as well, hard mode, they do get a lot more aggressive, as do most of the other dinosaurs. However, the Flaccidromus on this game, on hard mode, especially in the dark, will attack you. Now, these flying dinosaurs do not actively hunt anything apart from the human on the island. The Flaccidromus can have vast flight paths, but the main congregation of the islands of where you can see them is this northwest side of the island here, and also can be found down to this southeast part of the island up to Cave. Sometimes you can see their flight path take them over the radio tower here. Next, we have the Pachycephalosaurus. Now, excuse the pronunciation. I call it Patchy for short and for ease. But this small but very robust dinosaur definitely has an aggression to protect itself. It will charge if you get too close. If you shoot at it and hit it within a proximity, it will also charge you and deal a great amount of damage. Now, in terms of being hunted, they are hunted as they do cross paths with Spinosaurus, Tyrannosaurus rexes, and Giganotosaurus, and they will be hunted in these areas. The Patchy will, however, will run if you do shoot it from a distance and hit or miss, and will flee the scene. It will only charge you if you get too close. The Patchy, as I said, I will call it for that for ease, can be found on a vast amount of the island. So picking out its hotspots, we can find it around Forester's Boat, where it will venture into this bootleg and around this part here. The temple ruins around this part here, and you will also see it mostly around the ranger's cabin here, and will venture down towards the cave. The Pteranodon, as I said before, is a second of the 2 flying dinosaurs. Now, this is less aggressive, but however will protect itself, and will become more aggressive on hard mode and also in the dark with your flashlight on. So if you shoot at it, it will come for you, it will dive bomb you, and it won't stop until either you or it is dead. The Pteranodon, again, has vast flight paths all over the island. The main places, if you ever are looking to hunt one, is the radio tower and around over the lake here, over this part of fuel just to the northwest fuel depot, over the cave here, and also over Forester's Boats up over Temple Ruins on this west part of the island. Next up is the Carnotaurus. Now, this dinosaur is aggressive, especially to other dinosaurs. You'll find it spending most of its time chasing around smaller herbivores and taking them down. However, you have to get extremely close and take a shot at the Carnotaurus for it to actually come and attack you. The further away it is, and even if you hit it, it potentially may run away. Now, in terms of fighting other carnivores, it just doesn't. No other carnivores will even attack it either. They will leave each other alone. The Carnotaurus can be found in the south east part of the island, over these rolling mountains, over by the fuel depot here, and down over these hills here. They have been known to also venture around the Heart Lake, coming from these mountains. And they will also be found around the temple ruins here, and up to this northwest part of the island. Of course, there is also the Mosasaurus. However, we're not able to display this in our lodge, so I will play some clips as you are listening to this. Now, the Mosasaurus we call more of a loot box guardian and protects the loot boxes out in the middle of the sea, which are the red ones. Now, there is no way of hunting or killing this massive dinosaur at this moment in time. You just have to avoid it and avoid its head. However, it does make it a little bit more interesting when you go in the water, as you may get eaten. Now, the Mosasaurus can be found over the majority of the island. Where you see a loot box, a Mosasaurus can spawn. However, it's not 100% of the time. The most likely position that you are going to find a Mosasaurus is to the south and southeast of Temple Ruins, just through this bay where the bridge is, and off of the this beach here. However, I have had instances where I have heard and seen it north of Ranger's Cabin, around this part here, and also down south of Supply Warehouse. I've also heard it here, and also next to Forester's Boat. I've heard it but not seen it here. The very rare occasion where I've also heard it is while I was in this part, walking towards Freight Container in this little bay part here as well. Now, it's not a hard and fast rule. This is just where I have heard and seen it. But watch my video on how to find a Mosasaurus if you would like to see it as we get up close and personal, which was mainly focused around the temple ruins right here. And finally, as we come to an end of all of the dinosaurs, we have the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Probably one of the most infamous and popular dinosaurs to be known. Now, on the game, it is no different. In terms of the human, it is definitely the most difficult one to take down, but obviously a well-placed heart shot will take it down in one bullet with a 50 cal rifle, even on hard mode. Now, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is probably one of the more aggressive dinosaurs as well, with a shorter radius for it to attack from. So if you are within that radius, you're running, your flashlight on, it will attack unprovoked without you attacking it. Now, in terms of aggression on terms of other dinosaurs, it will definitely go in for a fight. However, somehow on this game at this moment in time, the Spinosaurus and the Giganotosaurus are both stronger and will both take down a Tyrannosaurus Rex, even though that the Tyrannosaurus Rex for us as a hunter is definitely the most difficult one to take down. It will hunt all herbivores in that it comes across. You'll Gallimimus, Pachycephalosaurus, whatever herbivore it comes across, it will take it down, including the mighty Brachiosaurus. The infamous Tyrannosaurus Rex can be found roaming vast amounts of the island, and sometimes people like to avoid these parts of the island solely for this purpose. The unsafe part is in this middle part, just below Radio Tower, where you will most certainly find a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It will venture down to the supply warehouse and also around this Heart Lake here. The path will also take it over these hills up towards the cave here, where it will come to the ranger's cabin, across the beach, where it will sometimes venture back across the beach here and through the valley back into this part, or may choose to travel either up over these mountains back towards the cave area, or has been known to travel back up the ramp here to the back round to the cave or over these mountains. Now guys, that is the end of all of the dinosaurs on Prehistoric Hunt. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you've made it this far, and let me know what you think of this video. It was something slightly different, just to give you guys a bit more information about the dinosaurs in this game, the hotspot locations, and how these dinosaurs act out on a hunt. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.